back to the show. Now, last week we covered nutrition for pregnant mums, and as promised, this week we will concentrate on nutritional needs for breastfeeding mothers. Now, that will be for the first 6 months of your child's life, and also we'll focus on what best foods to introduce to your child and when to start weaning them.
There you go. Of course, as mothers, there's this intrinsic need to give the very best for your child, and for fathers too as well. So, as such, we speak to nutritionist and a wellness guru, Wong Yu Jin, to find out some of the best eating habits you should inculcate, and of course for your baby as well, and ensuring that they get the best nutrition ever. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Wong Yu Jin, lawyer turned nutritionist. Now, that's something new as well.
It's great to be here.
One of these days, I'm going to have to sit down with you and ask you, how in the world does a lawyer become a wellness guru?
Because you follow your heart, that's why, right?
And I can talk on and on, probably the rest of the day.
Maybe over a cup of coffee, but of course at this point in time, we're talking about nutrition for mums. Of course, mums right here in Malaysia, around the world, I encourage to breastfeed as well. Yeah, but at this point in time, what are the actual benefits of mother's milk for the baby?
Well, one thing is that the babies usually they're not equipped to create antibodies for all those harms that are coming in. Because they're very new to the world. So they're slowly learning. They learn to create all these antibodies in their bodies. But in the meantime, the mother's milk has all these antibodies. So when it comes, when they take the mother's milk, they're actually more protected. So the immune system is much better.
Exactly.
Right. So that's one. And the second thing would be, if you take mother's milk, the baby will be less prone to allergy. So it's been shown that if you get them on like cow's milk or formula milk, it's a lot of more allergic reactions.
Exactly. Of course, which leads to more trouble for new parents out there, especially when it comes to puking and colic and
you probably know that.
Look at our eye bags.
I know, right? Now we're clear of the. Now we know a few of the benefits for the child. How about for the mother itself? Are there any benefits for mom to breastfeed child?
Definitely. I'm sure you will know that the #1 benefit would be the bonding experience with your child. Right? It's so different actually when you breastfeed and you have that the connection with the child.
Somehow I cannot imagine this connection because I've never tried it before.
But my husband did say once, he was watching me feed my child, and he's like, you know, I'm jealous of that connection.
Actually, most fathers feel that way. We're jealous of that particular
But then it's also been shown that if you do breastfeed, your risk of breast cancer is actually lowered.
No, that's something
later on in life, yeah?
Right. Okay. And also breastfeeding burns like around 250 calories a day.
I know, that's fantastic, isn't it?
So that explains your svelte figure. Yeah,
it's like a 4-kilometer run.
Well, I wish my baby would latch on to me, that's for sure. I don't have time for a 4-kilometer run. But okay, that's some of the benefits as well. But here's the thing. When it comes to the quality of the breast milk as well, of course, what mother eats, a mother expresses as well. What are some of the foods or food groups that should be concentrated on for moms?
Well, one of the important things, obviously, is calcium-rich food. Calcium-rich food and things like dark leafy vegetables. If she consumes dairy, then of course dairy would be the best. Otherwise, soy products or nuts and seeds and beans. And it's very important for the mother not to take anti-nutrients. Anti-nutrients means things like that's loaded with sugars and fats. So these are high calories, but there are basically no nutrients in there. So she has to take nutritious food, things which are packed with lots of antioxidants, vitamins, and so on. So that should be the way that she eats.
What about iron? Now, iron's very strong. Now, I've also heard that sometimes breastfed babies have an iron deficiency. Is this true? Because back in the day, my mom would be like, oh, you know, we had to give you iron drops to help supplement that. But today, I know my doctor didn't prescribe any. Is that an old belief?
Well, iron is probably sufficient in the breast milk till about 6 or 7 months. And after that, it's probably insufficient for the growing baby. So if you're just relying purely on the breast milk, then it would not be enough.
That's why after 6, 7 months, then you have to actually move on and wean them to solid foods.
You can still have breast milk, but combination.
So of course for mothers out there, I mean I know sometimes you get hungry really often and such, and so you try to grab anything. So I got to fill myself up. I'm breastfeeding, but what you consume, the baby will consume as well. So that's a point to ponder. Now when we go to the process of weaning as well, there's conflicting, let's say, information. I started at 4 months. Aisha started at 6 months. Is there a time frame where the baby should start going to
How do you know your child's ready?
Well, typically a child would be the average number of months is probably about 6 or 7 months. 6 or 7 months. That's the average. But sometimes it's different, a little bit different from child to child. Especially when you can try giving them about a little bit earlier, 5 to 6 months. But when they spit out the food and they don't seem to be ready for that kind of food, you want to give them a little bit more time. And it's no rush really. There's no rush because breast milk is so good for the baby. So there is no real rush to change them to solid food.
Like you mentioned, there are a lot of conflicting advice. Some people even say if your child can sit up, therefore it's ready.
Oh, really? Is
yes.
Is that an old wives' tale or any truth to that, Eugene?
I haven't heard that one really, actually.
Yeah, I haven't heard that one either. But also, here's another issue as well. Lots of doctors advocate it. Lots of old school advice comes from this as well. Keep your baby breastfed as long as possible. But when is it too long?
Right. Actually, back in the old days, they used to say like 1 to 2 years, even up to 2 years.
But the World Health Organization still says that until 2 years old.
Yes. Actually, it's quite outdated. The reason for that is because back in the early 1900s, the concern was hygiene. Hygiene of the outside food.
Exactly.
So that's why they want to keep the baby with breast milk as long as possible. But that has all changed. We're so modern nowadays. The other formulas are also good, and we have loads of healthy baby food. So I would say around 6 to 7 months. Because after 7 months, probably just the breast milk alone.
Exclusively breastfed.
Yes, that's exclusively breastfed. You could actually mix it up and then you take it out a little bit longer. But the effect of the breast milk on the immune system is not very strong after about 6 or 7 months.
I see.
Now, a lot of people will, would want to continue giving their child some form of milk. Now, other than breast milk, there's obviously cow's milk formula, which is derived from cow's milk, and goat's milk. And there's also a worldwide movement to say that, cow's milk is no longer good for you anymore. Now, what's your opinion on this? There are a lot of, once again, there are a lot of different
conflicting news out there.
schools of thought when it comes to this.
Cow's milk is okay, but you do not want to give it too early. Because cow's milk, the casein in cow's milk can cause a lot of allergic reactions. And a lot of bloating and things like that. And they vomit a little bit more. So you want to delay that a little bit longer. I would say at least for a year. At least for a year. Because cow's milk, the composition of cow's milk is very different
from us, right?
From breast milk. But goat's milk, on the other hand, is actually it's more similar.
Oh,
it's more similar to mother's milk. So goat's milk is a little bit more acceptable. So you could start it a little bit earlier. But you will want to water it down because the concentration in goat's milk is very concentrated. So I would say probably you would like to water it down maybe 1 to 2.
I see, 1 to 2, yeah?
But around that age now, children, like you mentioned, kids can get almost all of their nutrients from food already. Now, this whole process of weaning is not always an easy thing. Now, I believe you've actually prepared some slides as to, how to introduce
Well, let's bring it out, man. Especially for of course, would-be mothers out there who are really quite scared of treading down this new territory.
I know, weaning is quite daunting.
Exactly. So, of course, if you can take up the slides right about now. Maybe a bit of a review from your side.
Yeah, actually, is the slides coming on?
Yes, they'll be coming on in a bit.
Yeah, it should be now. There's a bit of a...
Right, there you go. This kind of like a four-step... Four steps to solid food. So what we want to start off with is iron-fortified cereal. Like what Aisha said correctly, iron is very important for development of especially the brain of the child. So when you start off with cereal, which is kind of mushy and easy for him to take, and then mix it with a little bit of breast milk. That would be probably best. And start off with iron fortified cereals. Then you move on to easy vegetables. When I say easy vegetables, these are the soft vegetables.
Like carrots, pumpkins.
Carrots is a little bit hard.
A bit hard.
I like to suggest the 3 Ps, which is peas, pumpkins, and potatoes. Potatoes would be both the white and the red, the red one, the sweet potatoes.
Excellent.
So those are easy vegetables, and they're a little bit similar in texture to cereal, and that's what they accept. And after a while, you can move on to fruits. But I would suggest cooked fruit first.
Cooked fruit.
Cooked fruits. So what you can do is you can bake them, or you can steam them. You can stew them so that it becomes mushy and acceptable. Because babies are very sensitive to the texture, to the texture of food. You know, so it cannot differ too much from there.
Exactly.
And once he's used to the cooked fruits, you can move on to chewy vegetables.
Would it also depend on whether your baby sprouted teeth or not, or is anything goes at this point?
If you're mashing things up, then it doesn't really matter that much. Even when we talk about chewy vegetables, things like broccoli, zucchini, carrots, you will still cook it and you still mash it up.
When do you start introducing proteins? When do you start introducing meat, chicken, fish?
Right. I would say about probably 9 to 10 months.
9 to 10 months.
9 to 10 months. Probably start with a little bit of maybe sliced chicken, some cooked chicken, something very simple for him. Nothing. Don't start off with red meat. And then once if he likes that chewiness and he likes that taste, then you can introduce a little bit more.
I see. All right. Maybe last question before we have to wrap this up. A lot of people go fish before chicken. Fish before chicken. I have no idea why. Do you have an idea why?
No preference, really.
Yeah, no preference.
Yeah, no
really,
preference. It's just that the texture is just different, like I said. Chicken is a little bit more chewy.
Yes.
But sometimes
fish is easier to...
Yeah, fish you can actually just mash it up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it really depends on the child. It really depends a lot on the child.
There you go. Something for viewers to keep note of. It all depends on the child.
Exactly. And you know what? Trust your instincts as a parent. I mean, in the end of the day, there are a lot of books that say a lot of certain things when it comes to, how long should you be breastfeeding? What should you do? In the end of the day, know what's right and trust your instincts.
Exactly. This is all just a guide. It's a learning experience after all.
Exactly. But then again, you've been very, very helpful with your tips. That's for sure, Eugene. And once again, I'd still like to know how a lawyer becomes a wellness guru.
Coffee after
We'll
that.
take a quick break. We'll take a quick break, and then you guys can have that chat.
Absolutely. But once again, thank you very much for those tips. And hopefully, mums to be out there, well, nothing really much to be nervous about. I mean, we understand it's breaking new ground, but as long as you trust your instincts and keep to those tips that we've given you, you should be all right, inshallah.
Inshallah.